Good afternoon. I am at the top of the fire tower at Cook Forest State Park. This 87-foot fire tower was built in 1929 by the Commonwealth's Department of Forest and Water. Those who are up to climbing up the 100 steps are rewarded with breathtaking views of the forest below. If you are not up to the climb, the Seneca Overlook is nearby. Before I get into my video, I am first going to explain the park's history. John Cook settled the area in 1826. He purchased 765 acres. John settled here with his wife and 10 children. In present-day Cooksburg, John built his one-story cabin and one of many water-driven sawmills. John's son Anthony purchased 36 acres from his father. And when his father died in 1858, John gained more acreage. Many mills were on the ground of present-day Cook Forest State Park. The mills Anthony built were sawmills, a flouring mill, and a planing mill. Anthony Cook built the Cook homestead in 1870. In 1926, the Cook Forest Association was formed and endorsed by Governor Gifford Pinchot, the Honorable Simon B. Elliott, and natural resource groups. Cook Forest became the first state park in 1928 to have a preserved natural area. 40 years later, in 1968, the Forest Cathedral was designated a National Natural Landmark. This fire tower was decommissioned in 1966. Today, visitors can climb up the fire tower to take in beautiful views. They only have that opened maybe a few times a year for educational programs. The observation deck. Fog is lifting in the valley. And you can feel this thing swaying in the wind, or especially when somebody is going up the steps. It feels like the entire tower is shaking. Don't worry, it's not going to come down. Here's a look at the view below. So if you're not up to climbing this 80-foot fire tower, the Seneca Overlook is nearby and you can get spectacular views of the valley below. Still got a ways to go before I get down to the bottom. Morse code. And that's the Seneca Trail. This will take you down to the park office. It's a really steep climb up. I never hiked it, so I don't know. But that's what I read. We're coming up on the Seneca Overlook, guys. You do not want to climb over the fence. Uh-oh. All those crevasses. Just amazing the root system that's in the rocks. It's amazing how the trees take root in the rocks. This is cabin number 12, where we will be staying for 2 nights here in Cook Forest State Park. These cabins were built in the 1930s by the Civilian Conservation Corps. That's cute.
Well, we brought tools, so want to fix that?
No. You didn't bring a ladder? Inside of cabin number 12, you can see there's a nice table, fireplace. There are 2 bedrooms. You get to provide your own bedding, sleeping bag, blankets, pillows. There's a ceiling fan. These cabins do not have running water or air conditioning. But right outside there is a outhouse. And down over the hill, I believe there's a bathhouse where you can take a shower. Bunk beds. And these cabins were placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1987. So these are historic. Nice mirror. A little bench. You can tell these were built in the 1930s. There's even hooks on the back of the doors. You have beautiful views of the forest while you cook. This is ideal. This is a really cozy kitchen. If you notice, absence of a sink. However, there is a water spigot outside. Looks like something must have been here, like a pipe, to get smoke out of the kitchen. And they just filled it in with concrete. Refrigerator. Cabin is very clean. It's spotless. You can open up the windows and the door to get a nice cross breeze. Get that nice forest air. It's equipped with a fire extinguisher too. Very important to have. And this here is the main living area. Nice wood burning stove. Take a walk through. And you see this kind of woodwork, like with the white and the brown. You see this kind of architecture at Clear Creek State Park and Parker Dam State Park. And I think S.B. Elliott State Park too has these kind of cabins. They give you an old-fashioned key. Cook Forest State Park, River Cabin 12. Here there's a picnic table and a fire pit to grill on. This is ideal, being surrounded by old growth forest. I know I'm going to sleep good tonight. And the nice thing, so far I don't hear any human noises. It's peaceful and quiet. All I hear are the birds chirping. I don't hear any hums of traffic, nothing like that. Here's the back of the cabin. Look into the kitchen again. Yep. Number 12. Nothing like being surrounded by old growth forest. One good thing, the bathrooms aren't too far away from the cabin. So they are nearby, which is a good thing. And I'm not sure if there's a shower in there. I think it's just a commode. The bathhouse might be down over the hill. Got some hand sanitizer, women's and men's. Okay, here's inside the bathrooms. Just make sure you close the lid whenever you're finished because you don't want flies. There's a thing for flies, air freshener. And it's just a short walk from our cabin. We're surrounded by beautiful forest. I can get used to this. And by the way, here's the outdoor spigot. Very, very rustic. In fact, these are rustic cabins. That's what it says on the state park website. So rustic cabins do not have a bathroom or running water, and you have to supply your bedding, toiletry items, paper products, cookware, etc. We are staying at the river cabins here at Cook Forest State Park. Here's a view of the Clarion River right across River Road. Nice area for picnic tables. I do believe this is the sled riding area in the winter. Down yonder is a playground, picnic shelter. FYI, these shelters can be reserved 11 months in advance. Same with the cabins. The Clarion River doesn't look like it's too high.
There's ducks.
Looks like an old fireplace on the hillside. Here's the bathhouse. This is for cabin occupants only. So you do need a key to get in to use them, which is a good thing. And they are located along River Road. This definitely looks like it was a fountain at one time. The trailhead to the Cook Trail comes out by the river cabins, which I will be hiking that trail later on. And this road is for cabin occupants only. However, the Cook Trail does come out right behind cabin number 12, where we're staying. And the Cook Trail is a 2-mile loop. We'll be hiking that trail later on. Nothing like listening to the rainfall in an old growth forest. Looks like it's going to be an all-night rain. I'll get to the Cook Trail in the morning, and hopefully I can hike the Forest Cathedral Trail through some old growth forest. Right after rain. River's a little bit high. After the rain, I decided to hike down to the river. Everything is so lush and green after a rain. And the lighting is just perfect for photography.
And this looks like this was a road at one time. According to the map, there was a road here. It looks like nature reclaimed it. And you can still see the signs as cabins 8, 9, and 10 pointing in that direction. And they do have it blocked off with a couple of logs. So there's no way you could drive back there. There's an old stone foundation, probably to hold up the hillside. Yeah. Like I said in my McConnell's Mills video, whenever I hiked Alpha Pass, I love rocks. And I'm just amazed how trees take root in rocks. I did in the video in the Alpha Pass Trail beginning of May, so if you go under the hiking playlist and just search for hiking the Alpha Pass Trail at McConnell's Mills. Good morning! Since yesterday's rain deterred my plans of hiking the Cook Trail, I'm out here bright and early at 7:45, and I'm going to hike the 2-mile loop of the Cook Trail. And this trail is rated as more difficult. Everything is so lush and green. You do gotta watch out because some of the trail is washed out. Here we have some ferns. We're gonna hike through the ferns. And I hiked this trail once before in November 2016, so there is a little bit of an elevation change. Okay, now we are heading into the woods. And personally, I love it when it's cloudy and cool for photography and hiking. Because when it's cloudy, you don't get those harsh shadows whenever you're doing photography. And this trail is an interpretive trail, so you just follow the signs and they explain what happened. And this shows windstorm damage May 1st, 2017. My 40th birthday. I remember that day. We got a line of severe storms that moved through. This here is an old dynamite shack. It was built by the CCC in the 1930s. Just going to take a look around. I'm not going to get too close in case there's any snakes. Some of this trail is grass, so wear waterproof shoes because in the morning the grass is wet. A little FYI, there are exposed roots on this trail, so watch your step. We've got some trees growing out of the rock. And we are going to walk under this blowdown. ascending up the hill into the forest. And this trail has strands of old-growth forest. This is very, very unusual on this rock. Let's take a closer look. Very unusual pattern on this rock. You find so many unique things here in the forest. And noise level on this trail is very quiet. Only thing I hear is the water and the birds chirping. So peaceful. Little toad. As I'm doing my photography, I am using 1600 ISOs because of the low light level here in the forest. We are now entering an old-growth forest. Here's a little footbridge. This trail kind of gets overlooked because of the forest cathedral trails, which are stunning, but this trail is just as beautiful. And I'm hoping to hike the forest cathedral trails here later on today. I highly recommend the forest cathedral and the Cook trails. Those are two of my favorite areas in the park. Here is a deer exclosure. This is to keep the deer out so the trees and plants have a chance to grow. And throughout the trail there are these markers that explain what's going on. So take your time, relax, take time to read them, because there's a lot of information. It's amazing how trees take root in rocks. Look at the diameter of the base of this tree.
It's a big knot.
Wow. Let's see what the sign is. What kind of tree is this? This is actually, and I'm reading from the plaque, this is actually an eastern white pine and a northern red oak growing very close to each other. How did this happen? Did they both start growing together as seedlings many years ago? Or did the white pine start growing well after the oak had been established, then grow around the oak? Wow. Amazing.
I've never seen that.
Yeah. Here we have another fork in the trail. Can either go this way, but you're supposed to actually follow the arrow. So we are going to press on. Here we have a steep elevation change. It's not too steep, but steep enough to put it in the more difficult range. But it's just perfect for my cardio workout. This is just beautiful with the fog and the old growth trees. Here we have some young trees. I say within 100 years, if there's no intervention, like storms or logging, these trees will be forest once again. And there are a lot of ferns here because light is hitting the forest floor. Oh, by the way, this trail is blazed in yellow. Here you can see the height of these trees. Definitely old growth. A lot of the base of the trees are at least 3 feet in diameter. And that's how you can tell it's an old growth forest. There's another look. We have another sign, Eastern White Pine, and I'm going to read this to you. These tall, majestic trees were once prized as ship masts. When sections of Cook Forest were first logged back in the mid-1800s, it was not uncommon to find magnificent stands of 150-foot tall white pine. The tallest known tree in the entire northeastern United States, a white pine 184.5 feet tall, was found along the Longfellow Trail until it was snapped by a thunderstorm in May of 2018. The white pine is our only naturally growing pine in Pennsylvania with 5 needles in the pod. White pines that grow in the forest are usually grow very tall and straight, with most of their green needles located at the top. This is due to competition for sunlight with other trees. The bark of older white pines usually becomes very deeply ridged and furrowed. Quote, okay, I'm going to read this. American chestnut snag. The snag, or dead tree, has been standing since it was killed by the chestnut blight that moved through Pennsylvania in the early 1920s. The wood of this tree was very rot resistant and prized in the early lumber industry. It was used to build just about anything from tool handles to houses. The CCC salvaged some of these dead chestnut trees to build many of the park's cabins, shelters, and the log cabin in environmental learning classroom from 1933 to 1937. Wildlife such as turkey, bear, deer, and squirrels depended on this tree for food. It was a very fast-growing tree. Many trees that were felled in the logging era 1820s to 1920s, averaged 6 feet in diameter. The largest chestnut tree ever recorded before falling was 54 feet in circumference, which makes it about 18 feet across. Quote, here's a look at inside of the tree. I'm not going in, but my camera's going in. So I want to give you guys a look. So according to the sign, this tree has been like this for about 100 years, almost 100 years. Here we have a blowdown. So we are just going to maneuver right through this crevice. Looks like this is freshly fallen. And just looking at these root systems, it shows you the sheer size of these trees. There's a lot of rings to count on this tree, and the rings give you an idea of how old the tree is. Because each year and this tree looks like ants got in there. Looks like they bored a hole through there. It's a large root ball to this fallen tree. Wow. Let's just come around and get another look at it. Wow, look at that. There's even a huge puddle due to last night's heavy rainfall. I'm slowly descending down the hill. Oh, by the way, I hiked this trail clockwise. Some may disagree, but I feel this is perfect weather for hiking. Cold and cloudy. You know, when it's cold, you don't have all the bugs. And when it's cloudy, you can get better pictures because you don't have the shadows from the sun. Wow. Here's where the trail comes out at, right near my cabin where I'm staying. How convenient. Cook Trail is a great trail to hike. I highly recommend it. Right here we have an area of nurse logs. There's some neat looking fungus. That right here is shaped like a duck. We're going to make a left here and go across the swinging bridge.
The island.
Swinging bridge. Here is one of the several bridges we'll be crossing in the Tom's Run area. Here we come to a little clearing on the Tom's Run Trail. There's a just a little FYI, this bridge is closed. So I'm going to detour using the Red F trail. Wow. We're going to climb some steps here. This here is the Ancient Forest Trail. And this trail has the largest swath of old growth trees. And this trail, you do hear some noise from traffic from Route 36. So it's not as quiet as the Cook Trail. A lot of ferns. There's a little tributary. Such a beautiful area. And there's an area similar to this on the Slippery Rock Gorge Trail at McConnell's Mill State Park. Looks very similar. Ancient Forest Trail and Longfellow Trail. That just takes you in a long loop. And then from here the trail is pretty much downhill. A little bit of wetness. Here's the memorial fountain. This was constructed in 1950. And this water has not been tested, so it's not potable. So if you drink it, that means you can get really sick.
Beaver is very happy.
Some of the old equipment that they used. Shingle mill.
It's called shingle.
Yeah. I'm making my way back on the Birch Trail. Well, today's the day we leave Cook Forest. I slept so well the past 2 nights. And I will tell you, whenever if you have to wake up to use the outhouse middle of the night, it is pitch black out here, so bring a lantern. There is a light on in the outhouse, by the way, but walking from the cabin to the outhouse, make sure you have a lantern because it is dark. There is no Wi-Fi or internet or cell service up here, but I highly recommend it if you want to just get away from the busyness of the world. If you just want to unplug and reconnect with loved ones. And it's also a good idea, bring some board games to pass the time. We end up playing chess. And my kids beat me at chess. There's always light on in the outhouse, but still is pitch black at night up here. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I highly recommend you spend a couple nights at Cook Forest State Park. Thank you and enjoy the video.